Hello and welcome to this FPL My New Draft for Game Week 1 video with me, Holly Shand. It's been a big week in the FPL world with news that Gabriel Jesus is set to miss Game Week 1 with a knee injury, which has meant lots of changes to drafts, including mine. I'll be going through all the changes that I've made in this video and also looking at my latest AI rating over on Fantasy Football Hub. I'm really close to 19k subs now and hoping to hit 20k for the Game Week 1 deadline, so don't forget to subscribe. Let's get this video to 500 likes and hit the notify button as well, because tomorrow I'll be going live at 1 o'clock UK time rating your latest drafts. Let's get into it. First change is in goal then, and I've put Sam Johnston in as my 4.5 million goalkeeper over Brentford's Mark Flecken. David Raya looks like he's off to Arsenal now, so that means that Flecken will be number 1 at Brentford, who have the better fixtures, but Flecken hasn't impressed me so far in pre-season. I don't think he's as good a goalkeeper as Raya was, who managed to make a phenomenal number of saves last season. It was his save and bonus point potential which really bumped him up the rankings. I think Flecken is going to be more prone to conceding goals, remembering that Brentford do concede a lot of shots on their goal. So this is why I'm now looking at Johnston. I think I'd ruled him out because I didn't like the look of Palace's early fixtures, but having looked again, they're not as bad as they first seemed, and he is a goalkeeper that carries plenty of potential for saves and bonus points. He does accrue those saves quickly, which certainly helps in the bonus point ranking. So right now I think he is my favourite goalkeeper at 4.5 million. I don't really know if I want to spend extra on a 5 million goalkeeper because again, there's no one really standing out to me. So I think I'm going to stick with Johnston at the 4.5 for now, unless a better option emerges before the Game Week 1 deadline. In my defence then, Alexander-Arnold and Estupiñán keep their places with Gabriel back in. I had upgraded him to Stones in my previous draft, but I've dropped down to Gabriel again because I just like that he offers that game time security, some really nice opening fixtures for Arsenal with great clean sheet potential, and I think competition in the goalkeeper spot for the Gunners is only going to help Gabriel in terms of his clean sheet potential. Obviously got that goal threat as well. Now, Trent does keep his place, but I have thought long and hard about whether to keep him or not. We've seen in pre-season he continues to play at right back, but in that inverted wing back role. But the trouble is, with McAllister in there, who looks like a sure starter for Liverpool, he's tending to stay central for Liverpool, which means Salah is going out wide with more of an assist threat. Trent isn't coming into the midfield as much as you'd like in that winger attacking role and seems to be more of a DM. So I'm not quite sure whether Trent is worth it. But with all the competition in the Liverpool attacking spaces, I feel like you either have to have Trent, Salah, or no Liverpool players right now. And I'm a little bit nervous to start the season without a Liverpool player, but particularly when they play Bournemouth at home in Game Week 2. So Trent's just about keeping his space. But I do have a plan that I could switch this draft to a Salah draft, and I'll talk more about that when we get into the midfield. There's a change on my bench as well. You'll have seen my video earlier this week when I looked at the best bench players, and Luton new signing Isse Kabore, who is on loan from Manchester City, is set to start the season as an attacking wing-back for them. Baldock remains my 12th man because obviously Luton have a blank in Game Week 2, but I do think Kabore is going to be a good option for my bench in the game weeks where he is available. Moving into midfield then, and Rashford and Fernandes of course keep their places. I've been looking at the fixtures and I think Wolves at home and Nottingham Forest at home in Game Week 1 and Game Week 3 is really going to suit them. I think Fernandes becomes a better pick with the arrival of Rasmus, and it's nice to know that Rashford's going to be playing in his best position on the wing rather than as an out-of-position striker. I think there's going to be plenty of attacking returns for them in the opening 3 game weeks of the season. And then if I feel like the United double-up is too much down the line, I can basically switch them to any other midfielder in the game, bar Salah and De Bruyne. Odegaard also keeps his place, but I've swapped Martinelli out. I've upgraded him to Saka. I think the 0.5 million is absolutely worth it to get Arsenal's penalty taker. A little bit of concern because he's missed a penalty in pre-season, that he may not remain on those penalties, so it'd be interesting to see in the Community Shield. But I've had a look at some numbers for Saka, particularly in the absence of Jesus. In the 10 game weeks prior to Jesus coming back into the squad last season where he was injured. Nketiah started 8 of those games up front, and I do think there's some potential for Trossard and Martinelli to take on that role and get more minutes from Jesus being injured, but that feels short term. But Saka scored the most FPL points of any Arsenal player in the time that Jesus was out the team. He also got the most goal involvements as well, 5 big chances, so I think he's going to be a better option with Jesus out injured, which is why I felt like I had to keep him and get him in my squad with the Arsenal double up. Now the other change is the 5th midfielder. I felt like at the start of pre-season Matoma was absolutely locked in my team. I'm a little bit concerned about the amount of competition in Brighton's attack now. They've obviously strengthened in the window with European football in mind. I prefer Solly March, but I'm actually now looking to bring in Mbomo instead, because Brentford have got excellent fixtures as well, and he's going to be dominating set pieces with Tony suspended until January. He's on penalties, so I really like him as an option. I think he'll have a strong start to the season. It was a toss-up between him and Eze, because he's another player now that Zaha's left Palace who should be on all set pieces, which makes him a really attractive option. And as I mentioned at the start, I have toyed with a Salah draft. Now, I guess the issue is, and this is part of the reason why I haven't downgraded Trent, is because I don't really know where else to spend the funds in my 11 if I was to drop Trent. But if I was to drop Trent down to Chilwell, I could ditch Odegaard for Salah. I could also, to stay in a 3-5-2, I would also have to lose Rashford for Eze, but it would give me some funds to upgrade Johnston to Edison, who I think could be a good pick for the opening game weeks of the season. So that's the thing that I'm toying with, but I feel like looking like for like on players, would I rather have Salah, Eze and Edison and Chilwell, or would I prefer to have Rashford, Saka, Trent and Johnston? And for me right now, I think the latter of those two that I'm showing you in this draft is the better way to go. Moving into my forward line then, and it's Haaland joined by Visser. This second forward spot is absolutely puzzling me, and I'm sure it's puzzling a lot of other FPL managers as well. I keep looking through the options. Jesus looked like a good option, now he's injured, and Kunku's got a knock. That puts me off both him and Jackson. There's Wilson and Watkins at 8 million, both very good options, consistent proven goal scorers in the Premier League. But they've both got European action this season. They've both got tough opening fixtures. That's enough to put me off. I feel like I might as well just pick this at 6 million, going to start every game, 90-minute man, great fixtures, and just hope for the best, see what happens. João Pedro at Brighton could be an option, not guaranteed. So I think if you're unsure and you're not really attracted to any of the second forwards, it's best not to spend the funds on that spot and move the money elsewhere, which is why at 6 million I've gone with Visser. A change to my third striker spot then, 4.5 million. If you watched my video earlier in the week, you'll know that I've picked out West Ham's Divin Mbamba, who has started some games in pre-season for West Ham. Obviously down the pecking order, we're more likely to see him in Europe, but he looks like the most likely option to maybe come off the bench and play 10 minutes in any given game. He's scoring goals as well, really young player, just 18, but an exciting prospect for the season. And you know, he could end up winning that first spot in West Ham's attack at some point during the season. So I'm happy to hold him on my bench and maybe have another 1 pointer now and again coming off. I've put my team through the AI My Team tool over on Fantasy Football Hub. Remember, you can do this for absolutely free. Use the link in the description to this video. It's actually given me an overall team rating of 100% and a 98% rating for Game Week 1, with the team predicted to score 68.4 points with Haaland as captain. So I'm really excited to see how the team actually gets on. I feel like I'm quite close to my final team for Game Week 1. Obviously, I could still make a decision on which Liverpool player to go for, if any. The goalkeeper position could change, the second striker position could change, but I am starting to get there now. This is the final pre-season draft I'm going to be posting then. I'll be back on Tuesday with my Game Week 1 team selection. It's getting really close now. I'm really excited to share that one with you. I'm also going to be streaming tomorrow, 1 o'clock UK time, as I do every Friday, It will be the press conference stream once the season starts, but tomorrow I'll be rating your drafts. Help get this video to 500 likes, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to get to 20k for Game Week 1 and hit that notify button. That will let you know whenever a new video goes live or when I'm streaming. Thank you for watching. I'll be back very soon with another video.